humanity has always asked two questions: what am I and why am I? We recognize our own existence and our own finite existence at that. So where is home? Where are our souls from? How did we end up here? There really are things that we are not meant to understand. To be really spiritual is to be fully present in your body. All day I think about it, then at night I say it. Where did I come from, and what am I supposed to be doing? I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere, I'm sure of that, and I intend to end up there. This drunkenness began in some other tavern. When I get back around to that place, I'll be completely sober. Meanwhile, I'm like a bird from another continent, sitting in this aviary. The day is coming when I fly off, but who is it now in my ear who hears my voice? Who says words with my mouth? Who looks out with my eyes? What is the soul? I cannot stop asking. If I could taste one sip of an answer, I could break out of this prison for drunks. I didn't come here of my own accord, and I can't leave that way. Whoever brought me here will have to take me home. Have you ever questioned your existence? Show of hands. Listen, we're going there today. We are talking about the two questions that define the human experience. Who are we? And why are we here? Or to rephrase, what am I and why am I? But before we get into that, hi, my name is Kathryn. This is a series called Coffee with Rumi, where we read some literature, usually Rumi's poems, and discuss over our morning coffee. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, be sure to stick around, like this video, and subscribe for more. All right, so the poem that we are looking at today is called Who Says Words with My Mouth by Rumi. The title in and of itself is, I think, kind of the thesis of Rumi's whole dilemma that he's talking about. Because a couple lines later, after he says, who says words with my mouth, he says, who looks out with my eyes? What is the soul? So he's kind of implying that there is someone or something else inside of his body, right? That there is another entity, if you will, that is speaking through him, if that makes sense. So I see this as a body and soul disconnect. So basically, it's like I said earlier, how humanity has always asked two questions: what am I and why am I? And spirituality, religion, different cultural practices and beliefs all seek to answer that. And I think throughout our lives, we all either consciously or subconsciously ask these questions. And that's kind of the weird mystery of being a human being. It's that we have a consciousness and self-awareness that the rest of what we'll call creation, like other animals, plants, like other living things, do not have. Like Rumi's explaining that perfectly. Like we recognize our own existence and our own finite existence at that. Whereas other creatures don't really have that capacity for that level of self-awareness. So when we have this disconnect between the body and soul, there is a sort of longing and emptiness that comes with that. It's like, in a way, we don't feel like we belong in our bodies. Because if it is true that our souls are infinite and our bodies are finite, then that is difficult to reconcile. Like right here, he says, where did I come from? What am I supposed to be doing? I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere. I'm sure of that. A little bit further down, he says, I'm like a bird from another continent, sitting in this aviary. The day is coming when I fly off, but who is it now in my ear? Here's my voice. What is the soul? So this is the overall mystery that we are all trying to dissect and figure out. So where is home? Where are our souls from? How did we end up here? And the question is, we don't know. And that's what's frustrating. And that's what's scary. Like I mentioned earlier, religion seeks to answer a lot of these questions. I think these questions are the reason that we pursue scientific discovery, because whether you're spiritual or not, I think we all want a sense of purpose, and a lot of times we find meaning outside of ourselves. Maybe it's because we're made in the image of God. Maybe that's why we have that amount of self-awareness. And maybe not. Maybe it's all pointless. But I don't think that. I don't. It's really scary and frustrating not knowing these answers. But one of my favorite quotes ever is from Aristotle, and he says, "The beginning of all knowledge is in knowing that you know nothing." If you are willing to admit that you don't have the answers. One thing that really bothers me about a lot of, I'll just go with science and religion, a lot of atheist scientists and extremely religious people both love to say how they have the answer, they have all the answers. And you really don't. We don't know what happens when we die until we die, right? We don't know. And that is, what Catholics call the mystery of faith. It takes courage to have faith, but in a lot of ways, I think it takes a lot more courage to not believe in something, because there is a soul or something disconnected from my body. This isn't just my brain that's speaking right now. This isn't just a physical robot that's saying something. I'm not a supercomputer. I'm a person with a soul. And that's what makes us different from AI. And I think all living creatures have souls, but as I was mentioning towards the beginning of the video, we have that higher level of consciousness and self-awareness to recognize that we do have a soul and a body that are separate. But also it's strange in this physical life how intimately connected our body and soul are. When you heal your mind, you heal your body. When you heal your body, you heal your mind. Like, they're so intimately connected, but yet they're not. Yet one is finite and one is infinite. And so, no, this poem doesn't give us any answers, but it at least brings me comfort knowing that somebody else has the same experience that I have. And thinking about these things, I ponder these things. Sometimes I look at my hand and I'm like, whoa, am I real? Even though it is scary, he does offer some comfort on that last line, which is, whoever brought me here will have to take me home. Implying that some other being placed me here, and then that being will eventually take me home when it is time. Well, what do we do in the meantime? While we are sitting in this uncomfortable mystery that plagues us all, how do we live our day-to-day life? Where do we find solace? For me, well, I used to be one of those people that thought I had all the answers to everything. And I've undergone a spiritual journey in my 20s that made me unlearn a lot. And I'm starting to relearn things. I've been thinking a lot about what I believe and why I believe it. And Rumi has been a great teacher for me. But probably the biggest thing I've learned over these past few years is the importance of surrender. There really are things that we are not meant to understand. And we have to be content and actually joyful in surrendering to the powers that be, to the things that are beyond our control. Psalm 46, I believe, says, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still and know that God is. You need to be okay in feeling uncomfortable in this life. I think being spiritually mature is saying, yes, we can explore these topics, we can learn, we can ask questions, We can make scientific discoveries. We can learn more about our universe and our earth and our own bodies. We learn so much every day through technology. But at the end of the day, what is the soul? I think there is a God, or the one, the universe, the thing, right? The creator. And I choose to surrender to that. I find peace by spending time in nature, reading things like Rumi, reading the Bible, right? Spending time with other human beings, other living creatures, spending time with animals, plants, connecting with things that are not in the Matrix or the tavern, right? My 2 cents is just have faith that whoever brought you here will bring you home. Don't worry too much about it. To be really spiritual is to be fully present in your body. Fully present in this moment. Thank you for being here and for listening to me. Feel free to share your thoughts. And be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for the next one. And I will see you guys later. Bye.